Good day, class. This is your teacher, Ma'am Maria Corazon A. Mendoza. Welcome to second quarter of grade 8 English, and this is your module number 5. The title of our topic is Comparing and Contrasting the Presentation of the Same Topic in Different Multimodal Texts. What I need to know. Here are the objectives of the lesson. As a learner of this module, you are expected to define multimodal text, distinguish the forms of multimodal text, use graphical representations to show comparison and contrast of the same text in different multimodal texts, and realize the value of the proper way to express comparison and contrast of the same text in different multimodal texts. Before we discuss multimodal text, let us first have our online attendance. What you have to do is to take a screenshot while you are watching this video and send it to your teacher through personal message. Multimodal text applied in our lives. As students, you are surrounded with different texts every time. These texts help you to learn any topic at hand. Now, class, I want you to imagine yourself learning a new language by just reading a book about the alphabet, pronunciation, expressions, etc. Do you think you can learn the language? Yes, of course, you can learn the language, but it will be more difficult to process because only one type of text is presented to you as the learner of the new language. Now, class, imagine yourself learning a new language by reading a book about the alphabet, pronunciation, expression, and also hearing the pronunciation, expressions, and seeing how the alphabet is written. Do you think you can learn the language? Yes, of course. It will be easier to learn the language because of the different strategies available for you. In this case, we call them multimodal text. What is multimodal text? A text may be defined as multimodal when it combines two or more semiotic systems, which include picture books, textbooks, graphic novels, comics, and posters, where meaning is conveyed to the reader through varying combinations of visual, oral, read or written, and kinesthetic. The meaning of a text can be visual. Description. This is learned best by seeing, responding to visual cues like images, graphs, or charts. So as we see here in our image, we have here under visual, we have eye and camera. So these pertains to things that you actually see. So what strategy is best to use? Using textbooks with plenty of pictures, flowcharts, graphs, maps, illustrations, art, model, and diagrams. So these kind of visual aids, okay, help you to learn more about the topic instead of just reading a full-on text or a full-on paragraph about a topic. Pictures and such will really help you. An example of visual. Caleb easily understood the story that is being told during the reading class since his teacher decided to use pictures while narrating it. Next up, we have oral. This is learned best by hearing, responding to auditory cues like verbal instructions, discussions, or songs. In this kind of text, we usually use, or we mostly use rather, our listening. So what strategy to use? We could read notes, assignments, or tests out loud. You can also record oneself or record yourself reading class notes and listen to them. Make songs about the concepts to remember them. So again, this is oral in connection to listening and to music. Well, if you think about it, some students would learn better if there is like a background music playing as they memorize something or as they read into their notes. That can also be helpful. Let us have an example of oral. Miss Joy, a science teacher, made a song on her lesson about 3 R's. When her students heard it, they were able to follow the concept of waste management. Next, we have read or written. They are sometimes listed as a subsection of the visual category. These are learned best by reading and writing, responding to written cues like lecture notes, books, and cue cards. What strategy to use? Use textbooks with plenty of written explanations and lists. Provide written statements to explain examples, charts, and diagrams. Here are the examples of read and written. For read, cue cards helped Sir Celso remember his lines while discussing the greatest common factor or GCF in mathematics on DepEd TV. And for written, in order for Robert to remember his lesson in Araling Panlipunan 9 about pangangailangan at kagustuhan, he reviewed all his lecture notes. Lastly, we have kinesthetic. This is learned best by doing, responding to tactile cues like movement, actions, and real-life examples. They might be distracted by uncomfortable seats or room temperatures. So what would be the strategy to use? Come up with real-life examples to help remember course material. Use real pictures and examples in assignments and presentations. Do own experiments or projects to practice concepts from class. Here we have kinesthetic example. The grade 8 Rizal of Bulihan High School decided to present a poem African Child by Echo Macred through a speech choir since their group learned best by doing. Even if two texts are written about the same topic, they can have different information depending on the author's perspective or the source of the information. Class, when we compare two texts with the same topic, we get more information than we would if we read just one. That will be all for the discussion. If you have any questions about the topic, feel free to ask your teacher for clarifications. Well, I can also answer your questions in the comment section. Class, please answer the following. Please prepare one whole sheet of intermediate paper. Please write your name, your section, subject, module number, and the date today. Please write independent activity 1. Directions. Write true if the statement is correct or false if otherwise. For your next activity, please answer the following using the same intermediate paper. Independent activity 2. Directions. Put a check mark on the space before the letter which corresponds to the learning preference that is being shown or represented in each example. So class, here what you're going to do, instead of putting a check mark, you will just write the letter. Again, for independent activity 2, you will only write the letter of your answer. For the next activity, we have independent activity 3. Agree or disagree. Directions. Determine whether you agree or disagree with each statement below. So you're going to write thumbs up if you give support to the statement, and you will draw thumbs down if you do not give support to the statement. Please use the same intermediate paper you used earlier. And for your performance task, make a slogan that will persuade or convince people to help lessen the surge of COVID-19 cases in Obando, Bulacan. Refer to the rubric in your module. Please put your slogan in a short bond paper. That would be all for today. Again, this is your teacher, Ma'am Cory, and thanks for watching.